I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The battery dead on this.
You want this one?
I just checked that.
Testing.
It's working.
This is working? Hello.
Why was it blinking?
Been talking to her.
Hello?
You can't have two.
All right, roll call, please. I don't have an
Can
agenda.
we have one?
You didn't even have an agenda.
It's all over the table.
Did you hear me?
Here's another one. Need somebody need an agenda?
Are you hearing me?
Yes. Testing, testing, this, oh no, it's not working.
Oh my God, I beat these things.
Roll call.
Mayor Kapadas.
Here.
Mrs. Passio.
Here.
Mr. Ranieri.
Here.
Mr. Robinstein.
Here.
Mr. Farrell.
Here.
Mrs. Kelly.
Here.
Mr. Shapiro.
Absent.
Mr. Long.
Yep.
Mr. Batesor.
Here.
And Ms. Strelly.
Here.
Okay, public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. One, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 5th, 2023, and two, emailed to the retrospect and current post on January 5th, 2023. First order of business is a public hearing. It's a request for a mural at 201 North Black Horse Pike, Block 44, Lot 4. Would the applicant like to come up? The applicant. Do we have drawings? It's not a color.
Here, you want a colored one? I have a colored one.
Do you have a copy of the
I do
drawing?
not, I don't have color either.
Here. That's all right.
Okay.
Exhibit A.
Okay, want to let us know what you're doing?
Sure, it's a mural, it's two koi fish in water. It's traditional Japanese design. I don't know what else you have.
What made you pick koi fish?
I really like, I like Japanese design, I like Japanese art. It has a lot of symbolism. Pardon me, so the symbolism is struggle, redemption, and success. So I'm a financial advisor, so if you're...
Well, that's what I want you to tell everybody what you do.
Where is this?
201 on 2nd Avenue,
And that building
on
is.
Blackbird's Pike, that's his building. It was the old Lake View.
Oh, the dentist, my dentist, okay.
Yep. You can come in for a dental procedure, but...
You own
I
the
know he's
building now?
gone.
Yes, I do.
So he's the new owner, he purchased the building.
Yes.
You're involved in his chamber.
Yes.
And is there any questions?
Yeah, I do, I have a question. Sure. Our main concern, and I'm sure it goes for all of us, is to maintain it.
Okay.
So can you, I don't know, guarantee, I think it's in our ordinance that we do have.
It is in the
The
ordinance.
standards in the ordinance, and we're prepared to
And you do
enforce the
understand that
Okay.
you have to maintain it?
I'm the owner of the building, I want the building to look good, so I'm absolutely gonna maintain it. And as a matter of fact, one of the reasons why right now it's kind of bland out front is because I was waiting for this in order to move forward, so then after the mural is done, then we can do landscaping, and that sort of thing. So, yeah. And that was,
It's gonna look fabulous.
it is, when it's all said and done. That was a question I had too.
Oh,
as
did
far
you
as-
put in for the facade grant?
Yes, I haven't put in for it yet because I'm still doing work.
Time
so-
is running out.
I know, but it will
Yeah.
be in by the end of the year. But is there any way to, I mean, I know this took quite a while to get to this point. Is there any way to streamline this process? Because I'm trying to kind of move forward.
So timing in life is everything.
Right.
You know, if the ordinance says we have to have a public hearing because your neighbors have the right in case they have a concern. That was the only thing that we did. But if you miss the deadline for advertising, then we only meet once a month. Like we're doing it at a caucus instead of the council meeting, so we save you a week.
Oh, okay.
So that's why we're dressed sort of casual, because normally we would do this at a council meeting. But we just want to go through the process. As we start moving forward and we feel more comfortable with things, we'll maybe can change it. That's what's great about this job, we can change the rules. But right now, you're only the first person to ever come in front of us and ask us.
Really?
So
So what about the other?
So you want to change, well, I'm glad you brought that up.
That's the reason why it's not a streamlined process.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's exactly what happened. Government, we didn't catch up with the changes. People started doing stuff without us. Now, is it a sign? Well, we've all agreed that it's not a sign. We consider it art. We want to promote art. But at the same time, art is subjective. So we have concerns, and we want to make sure that it doesn't go in the wrong direction. And the biggest concern, I agree, is that things are maintained.
Right.
One of the things that we found is that that's the biggest problem. People spend money and then they don't maintain it.
Oh, no, put it in.
I agree.
It's a nice mural.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great.
And it's a nice building. I've been inside it,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
stop by anytime, because I did a lot of renovation work on it,
oh.
to get it from dentist's office to financial
You
advisor's
took a
office.
lot of walls down?
Yes, yes, we took a fair amount down, but we also, have you ever been in there?
I have.
That office?
It
So
was
that
all
was
these
open.
little office, yeah.
So we opened up, so what I did was I split the building in half. So I actually had a tenant on one side, I'm on the other side. So we had to wall off between the two sides. But then on each side, then we opened everything up, so it was opened up.
That's good.
I love it, I mean, it looks,
It's,
it's great,
Good
perfect.
to keep this moving, so you want to streamline it? Does anybody like any more questions? Someone like to make a motion?
You have to open it to the public.
Oh, this is a public hearing, I apologize. And we, in the public wishing to speak on this application, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Seeing no one, is there a motion to close the public? Make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion to close by Mr. Lowenstein and by Mr. Renier. And now is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Lowenstein, second by Mrs. Kelly. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell? did you
I
say
said yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
All right, congratulations. The only thing we'll ask you is, if you have any questions, our ordinance is online.
Right.
Keep an eye, and like I said, if you do sell the property and things like that, that mural goes with the next person.
Yes.
So hopefully they maintain it.
But I'm not going to.
Okay.
I just bought it, so from here, I'm just good.
Good to do anything.
Good to go.
No permits, nothing. All we care about is that you take care of it.
Did you put your application in for the facade grant yet?
Not
He
yet.
said no.
Did you download it from the website? Okay, good.
I haven't, I've done a fair amount of facade improvement so far, so then once the mural's done, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put that
There
in.
you go. Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
See you at the next chamber meeting.
What's that?
See you at the next chamber meeting.
Okay. So the interesting thing about St. Teresa's, it was pre this ordinance, so it would be subject to this ordinance. And we don't see it. I know that sounds awful, but it's not in public view, it's only on the ground. So they should maintain it. If you'd like, you can go see it with Sister Nancy, that she needs to get out there and paint it.
She's not there anymore. Sister Santa Teresa is there.
I just saw Sister Nancy.
July 30th is the last day.
The new girl.
Spending too much time there.
I'm going in there.
So the ordinance does allow us to send them a letter. I think that it's more designed for the public.
That's right.
Well, I agree with you, they should maintain it. That's up to the, you know. I think, you know.
I'm just curious.
Have you been there lately? I haven't been there.
Yes, I'm there every
However, like Nick said, it's not really public
You
view.
have to understand, it is a parking lot.
Yeah.
It is being used as a parking lot. I park there every Sunday.
Oh, they're still doing that?
Oh, yeah, I park there every Sunday. So,
Let it go. Let that.
My brain's not.
We gave you start.
All right, let's keep going. Resolution for the mural, so that was now approved. Resolution 2394 is approved. Resolution 2395 is a resolution authorizing the facade grants. I'm going to go through these only because there is a lot.
Bundle them together?
No, because I think we need to know everything we're doing.
All right.
So obviously the mural, if everyone wasn't prepared, I wasn't, I apologize. And that's resolved. But the facade, I just think everyone should know that we gave $2,700 to we're giving $2,700 to Captain Chucky's, as long as everyone's in agreement.
Or,
For what?
that they painted the building.
Oh, yeah, it looks nice.
I think it was only for painting the building.
yeah, that's all
Yeah.
we did.
Yeah.
It looks nice.
And it's
Yeah, it
50%,
does look nice.
he paid 5,400, he supplied a receipt, and he paid
Yeah.
5,400, and our ordinance says that we'll give up to half.
And here is the receipt.
Okay,
Great.
so would someone like to make a motion to approve the,
I'll make a motion to
Oh, you know
approve.
what, I'm sorry,
The
I
resolution.
thought it was just in our district, on the pipe that we were to give that facade, because I know,
I don't
That's
remember.
what I thought.
I think we gave, okay, so once again,
75%
what's that?
75% of the redevelopments.
Yeah, so we were focusing there, but the ordinance was, the idea was we weren't getting enough applications, so we've expanded it a little bit. And I think the original application says 75% have to be in the redevelopment. So this is the only one that's outside the redevelopment. No, it's not true.
only because I,
Hare Hut is outside the redevelopment. We did 2 out of 10. 2 out of 10. Like about 20%. Okay?
so 75% has to be in the redevelopment area.
So if we keep getting outside, but once again, council can change it, that's the point. We've not gotten a lot of applications, the money's gonna run out on December 31st.
All right, okay.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Ranieri, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Farrell, roll call please.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passios.
Yes,
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
And the reason we're doing all this is because it needs to be done, so. Resolution 2396, so that resolution is adopted. 2396 is a resolution requesting, and I'm going to put these two together, 96 and 97. This is dedication by riders. If everyone remembers, this is the ability for the CFO to keep money separate. And what we're doing is, the police department sometimes gets donations, so they need an accounting for that. And the
Green tea.
green team needs an account. So what this is doing is providing 2 accounts. Now, they're not actually checking accounts, they're just accounts on our books, correct? And they're just funds so that we can keep the money separate. And so, resolution requesting approval from the Director of Local Government Services, dedication rider for the police donations, and for the green and sustainable donations. Would someone like to make, any discussion on that? Someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Mrs. Kelly, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passios.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
All right, so 2396 and 2397 are approved. 2398 is a resolution authorizing shared service agreement between the Borough of Runnemede and the Runnemede School District for a security officer. This was just an oversight that should have been done a little bit sooner. We all agreed to do this, if everyone remembers. We've had a security officer there for how many years now? 3 years? 4 years?
Yeah.
So it was just a little bit of an oversight. The terms haven't changed. So if someone would like to make a motion for this one?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Mr. Lobenstein, roll call.
Lobenstein was the second.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mrs. Passios.
Yes,
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
5 ayes, 1 absent.
All right, I'm going to do the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. So from 2399 to 23103, because these are all dealing with money. If there's any questions, please stop me. So resolution authorizing the acceptance of a grant for the firefighters, $62,857. This is for the air packs, if I recall. Is that correct? Air
This is
packs.
one of Anthony's. Anthony.
Anthony, it was very assisted a lot.
Yeah.
Assisted, yeah. So it's the air packs, it's approval of items of revenue for appropriations. Which one is that, Shelley?
So chapter 159.
23.
Oh, that just moves the money,
99 is accepting the grant, and 100 is accepting.
okay, plugging the money in so we can spend it. 101 is just property maintenance liens. Mr. Wozon's here, I don't believe there's that many, there's only 3, which is great.
Yeah.
102 is a resolution approving items of revenue.
For 2020 recreation grant.
So this was brought up just before the meeting. Back in 2020, in 2019, we put 5 lights down at the park. And they went from the bathroom, from the parking lot back to where the kids play soccer. If you remember, the parents were complaining it was dark, whatever. So Mr. Bach's office designed the entire property to have lights from the road all the way to from the cul-de-sac and then out to the field. But because they only gave us 25,000, we only did that first section. We must have applied, and we were approved for another 25,000. Now, myself, the clerk, the CFO, and none of any of us knew that we got this 25,000 until we got a letter today. Yesterday.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Well, it's been sitting there for 3 years. So she yelled at us and says we have to spend the money by the end of the year. So Mr. Boxoff is going to help us basically 3-quote it. And we're going to have a little discussion after the meeting, or we have a discussion now, which direction we should try to get the lights. Should we try to get the lights from Detmar Terrace to the bathroom, or from the bathroom back to the labyrinth? Now, let me just explain a little bit. Obviously, the lights going back to the labyrinth would also go along the baseball path and along where people park. The lights going out to the front obviously would benefit people coming in from the front. Both have positives, both have negatives. And money-wise, I don't think 25,000 is going to be enough, but I could be wrong.
Probably do 5 or 6 lights.
And so that'll do another third. Now, the question would be, we could do an ad alternate and do the entire project and then grab some of the money. Remember, we put money aside for incidentals that come up, but then once again, every time we do that, we're taking away from something else.
Yeah, I feel more lighting is more protection.
Okay?
And there is definite
And more use.
opportunities for people to leave a better impression when they come at night. I mean, I know it closes at dusk, is that correct?
Yes and no. The police stopped blocking the park a long time ago, but do you chase people out of there?
Yes.
Good. I do. So the park still closes. The lights were more about people having time to get out.
Are there any lights in the playground area?
This would run along the opposite side of it.
I'm asking though.
No,
Do we need them in that area?
that wasn't the
The
plan.
pavilion?
So the only thing I would say is, we
Put
start,
them up front, that would take care of it.
well, we start projects and we don't finish projects.
Right.
So there's two halves to this coin. We always start projects and we haven't finished. So do we finish this project and be done with it, because they gave us 25,000?
Yes,
Oh,
finish
you
it.
have to.
Yes.
Or do we just do a third and then?
No, finish it and be
No,
done with it.
finish it and be done with it. By the time it does get finished, we'll.
How many more?
We won't be
lights
here.
did you
Yeah,
have?
we will be here.
Probably another. Can't use it till you have to go.
That's all?
We had 5 lights from the bathroom to Denver Terrace, or 6 lights from the bathroom to the cul-de-sac.
Now, he's already put the timer in, he's already put the controller in.
So it's only another.
Remember, he put the pull boxes in. We did all the prep
We're
work.
estimating we might do the whole project for the 25,000. We do all
The
11.
entrance
I
will be
guess
in the
our,
bathrooms?
what is our decision, Mayor?
Unless-
Whether we want to do the front part or the back part?
I'm now polling this side real quick. I'm asking this side.
It would only be another 25, I say do
Can
it.
I remind you that you have until December to spend this 25?
Yes.
We go over the 40,000, now we're going to hit. We do.
She's allowed to go up to 44. Why don't we do it as an ad alternate? That's another, see, we forgot about that. So if we go over 44,000, he's got to do a bid, which will slow the whole process. But if we just ask the contractors who bid last time, would you do it like that? You don't think
I
you
have a
do
question.
half and
Can I
half?
ask a question? From the bathrooms where it stops towards the entrance, that would be the money, right? And then at least it's done from the beginning to the end of that, that's probably good.
Well, one thing before we do that, we should talk to people that have the houses.
No,
No, I agree with you.
no.
I've been doing Triton's lights for 40 years.
This is a public property, it's public safety, it's a street light. How many street lights have we put up?
Because that would finish it off to the bathrooms.
You know, while I appreciate people and neighbors, but like, one neighbor shouldn't have veto power. It's only a single light that shines down, because the new lighting doesn't shine up.
It's supposed to be closed at night.
It is closed at night.
We don't want to attract people coming in.
At this point, we don't, but what happens if
I
we
say
put
put the
soccer,
lights down the other way.
what if we put soccer lights up someday down
That's back in the woods.
there? Wait a second, we put lights down there for soccer anyway now.
Yeah.
So we are open at night when the
Well,
soccer's down there.
Well, not really.
No,
Yes, we
they have lights.
Oh, they have lights?
Portable.
Problem was when the
Portable lights don't work?
No, the problem is when the portable went out, they couldn't walk the
They
parking
got-
lot, which is why we did the first phase of this.
You remember, thank you. Yeah. They were using their cell phones to get out.
If that's the case, then maybe.
I think we've established that this park is being utilized more and more. And I think the next step would be to put lights in the soccer field.
Should we get a new sign saying that closed at dusk except for recreational teams?
Already up.
Already up?
Okay. See, I don't even remember that, so thank you.
That's why you're changing?
We have it. So you brought up a great point. The 44,000 does hurt us.
And if we have to spend this by December, we should only do,
What?
25,000.
Yeah, the entrance up.
Why, what's the difference?
With the public bid, you're not
Because
gonna-
we're not gonna make it, we're not gonna make it.
But what are you again saying to, putting it out there is 5 lights, please bid 5 lights, or bid 11 lights?
Try.
Try that.
If it's over 44, we can't award it.
Fine. But if it's 43, there you go. Let's be positive. You want to put money on it? Let's back.
Well,
We
we
can
better
back.
start real soon if we have to get this done by
Okay,
December.
so what I did this today was I already sent to Mr. Bayshore the bids from 2019. We already know the contractor that won the bid. We already have the bid. We already have the drawings. We already have the blueprints. We have everything. The only thing we needed was council to say, let's move forward on it. And I think what we could do tomorrow is reach out to those contractors, specifically A and E.
We have to just throw together a whole package and
Okay.
a scope of work.
Because he already did. He already put the, remember, the breaker's already in, the timer's already in.
Be the same lights.
There'll be the exact same
All
lights.
that out, as long as they still make that same.
That will be the only negative.
It'll be a comparable model if they don't make the exact
If
same.
it's a little different, okay.
Can't be different.
But if you remember, they were down, they were just a down.
So,
Are we in agreement?
but from where to where?
We're gonna say it one more time. We're gonna, I think we should start from the road to the bathroom as the base bid, with an addendum going the rest of the way. Now, the only thing we gotta do is we're also gonna take in consideration there might be a path someday. So we're gonna make sure that the lights are positioned, that they're not in the way of a future
Yes,
path.
and I think putting them in the entranceway is also eliminating the safety situation. There's no walkway there. With the lights there, it's much better.
They can walk out of the
They
property.
can be
If it gets
seen, people
dusk.
can be seen.
Yes. Okay, that's why we started this 4 years ago. You okay with this? You go down there, right?
I was down there today.
So look at it.
More lighting is more.
So look at the drawings again.
It's
You'll
more
see,
protection.
we wanted to put a path there, if you guys remember also.
Yeah. That never came.
And then this is the original, he already did all the drawings. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do with, what number was that?
102?
102.
And the understanding is that back section will be an addendum if we can afford it, is that
Yes,
correct?
the bid goes out, and then the add alternate would be 6 more lights going in the other direction, using the pole box that you have there, and then just trenching the other way. A lot of times companies use a mobilization cost, just to bring a truck out there, just to bring manpower out there. So if they're already out there, it should drop the price a little bit, but it might not. It could just be
But we
25
have
times 2.
34,000. that we're paying.
25,000.
25 plus, I thought you said 44 was in the package.
So we have some money left in our own
Before I have to
budget
go to the bid again.
that we could put in to finish it, if it's under 44.
There you go.
It's over 44.
It's gotta go.
We have to bid,
All right.
we have to bid.
And then 103
103?
is putting the money in the budget, correct?
No, 103 is the playground.
Under 25.
So 103 is the extra 25,000 we got for the VFW playground. So we have $50,000 for the VFW playground. And Harry, if we could just pause here for a second, have we ordered our playground equipment for this yet?
Yes, as of today, confirmed it, and we can get a production date and a estimated ship date for it, so this way we can look at it when we have to dismantle that current one itself. I am waiting for a art rendering of the new one, and possibly putting up a board coming soon as we ripped out the other one. Because it will probably be 2 months, 3 months layway and everything else, so
Is the fence being replaced?
not in this part.
Do you think it should be replaced?
Yes.
Would it be easier to install without the fence being in the way, or it doesn't make a difference?
If we can coordinate it as we discussed off record prior, on another funding for the fencing, yes, it would be easier if everything was a clean slate for them to install and then put the fence up.
Because this is another project where
You can't
finish
do
it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't, because you're going to put mulch down, correct? Rubber mulch?
It's going to be rubber mulch.
Is the rubber mulch, is it loose or is it compact?
It's loose.
It's loose. Okay, so it doesn't matter if the fence goes in after.
Correct.
Well, this is where we put a little bond together to finish projects. Now, even this one, I think we need an extra $3,000, was it? Like $3,000 or $4,000? I think this came in at like 53, 54,000.
58.
Yeah, we had the funding for that.
You know,
Does rubber mulch stay in one place, or can it be moved from a heavy rainfall?
Anything that's not bonded can move, so yes.
So did anybody go down there and take a look at the VFW playground? Because Sammy from the commander had said that all of that had washed out, all into the parking lot.
Oh, my.
So I thought maybe it needed to be graded differently.
That was the wood mulch from the heavy rain, and that was cleaned up.
So, I mean, can that happen with the rubber mulch?
Do we need to
Do we
regrade?
need to regrade?
2-inch
Thank you.
torrential rain and so forth, yes. Anything can happen.
Or should we regrade it all, or that's not a concern?
They're gonna make sure it's all level.
Make it level.
Should there be a barrier?
It has a barrier.
Well, that's where the fence comes in also, right? The fence would help.
The fence is the outskirt of it, so.
Good question.
All right, is there any need for a sidewalk there to go into it, or is it?
Yeah, because.
The reason I bring it all up
Yeah,
is,
I didn't know.
we need to finish it. You know, how do you finish it? Is that done? Come to my house, I'll show you a bunch of projects that aren't finished. You know, we're the government, we're supposed to finish stuff. What do you think? You know,
We can look at it, I did not look at putting a sidewalk to it, but it's gotta be ADA, but it's something we can fit in.
okay. I just think we need to take the time to do it right and be done with it, you know? All right,
Is there a
so,
time frame for us to build this and use the money?
no, this one's okay. This one we just got, so
Can I
we're
make
putting
a
that
motion?
together. No, we're gonna do them all. So, was that all of them?
Yeah.
All right, so, no, we're just doing these 4 at a time. All right, so now, resolution 2399 to resolution 23103.
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Ranieri, second by Mr. Farrell. Roll call, please.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mrs. Passio.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
So 104.
104 is the resignation of a Public Works employee.
So we have an employee who gave us a letter of resignation. So, Mr. Lawyer, do we do resolutions every time someone leaves, or should we, because sometimes we do and sometimes we don't? We should. All right, so that's our answer. We should. How about we will? We'll always do a resolution when someone leaves. So it goes in a folder and it's done. So Anthony Walshard has given his notice. His last day of work will be September 4th. Would someone like to make a motion to
I'll make a
To
motion
accept this resolution.
to accept this resolution.
Ms. Passio,
Oh, yeah.
second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kelly,
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein,
Yes.
Mrs. Passio,
Yes.
Mr. Farrell,
Yes.
and Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
That's right, Ms. Winner.
All right, that resolution is adopted. Okay, we got another one.
This is the storm order.
Resolution 23105, we just received today also, it was an
Yeah.
amazing day, another $25,000 for stormwater management.
Wow.
Now, what is this money going to be used for? Is this going to be used for the mapping?
This money is dedicated for us to use the funds for the GISing of all the storm construction that has to be done by January 1st of 2026.
So tell everybody what GIS stands for.
Yeah, global position,
Geographic Information System.
since you took the college
I
class.
took the class.
What was that?
Geographic Information Systems. It's basically layering with the, like, latitudes and longitudes, layering everything so that you can know where the roads are, know where the inlets are, know where the fire hydrants are, and then you can overlay traffic patterns, density,
Is this
demographics.
something new? Is this something?
No, it's been around for 25 years.
It's not topographic.
I don't believe it's topographic. No. No. But the whole idea is it's used for, you know, say a person wants to open a business and they want to know what's around them. They can use this to see, you know, how big the
And
world
that
is.
25,000 will go towards that?
It'll go towards, I think, purchasing equipment, and then his personnel will be running around mapping everything, correct? Or at least getting the numbers and then submitting the numbers to Mr. Bach's office, so he's going to put it on the map. Is that correct?
Correct, so the date might have to change another 10 years to get complete. No. But with that, just so you're aware, we get 15,000 on the last Friday of the month, and then upon the completion of it, then we have to submit to receive 10,000.
Okay, they actually give us money. Wow. Usually it's the opposite. We have to spend the money and then we get it. Okay, so everyone knows what that one is. Another one that just came in today, so it's an amazing day. So resolution 106 is to receive the 25,000.
No.
Okay, we're gonna do both. 105 is to receive the 25,000, and 106 is putting it in the budget?
No.
Oh, jeez. All right, let's just do 105.
I make a motion for resolution 105.
I'll second it.
All right, Mr. Ranieri makes the motion, second by Ms. Passio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Passier?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
Yes,
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yeah.
Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
All right, that resolution is adopted. Resolution 106 is a resolution supporting the qualified purchasing authority to award window contracts up to this $44,000 contract. This was actually sent to us because some law changed. Is that correct? And so we have to pass a resolution saying that our QPA can do this stuff. It benefits us. She follows the rules, Mr. Bayshore follows the rules, and that allows us to do this without doing the whole public bid process. Would someone like to make a motion? I'll make a motion. Motion by Mr. Farrow, second by Mr. Lobenstein. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Passier?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
yes.
Mr. Lobenstein?
Yes.
Mr. Farrell?
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri?
Yes.
All right, we're going to hold off on 107, that is contract negotiations. So we're going to have a closed session at the end, so we'll just ask everybody to leave once we're at that point. Let's get to new business. So first new business is proposed tree removal and replacement ordinance. So while it is our ordinance, it's a requirement to adopt this ordinance. Now, as for the fees and those type of aspects, we have the ability to change those. What we can't do is not adopt the ordinance. Ms. Kelly and I both read, had Township just introduced this. I just think we should probably do a first reading at next month to get it out of the way. What the ordinance basically states, do you have that letter from the net retrospect?
Yes.
Let me just real quick, just that one paragraph. So basically, the ordinance proposes a tree removal permit process based on the diameter of the tree trunk at 4.5 feet above the ground, known as the diameter at breast height. Anyone desiring to remove a street tree within the DBH of 2.5 inches or any street tree with a DBH of 6 inches will need to submit a tree removal application if the ordinance is adopted. So the idea is that if someone wants to take a street tree down, now this doesn't necessarily mean trees.
It doesn't say in your backyard, it
Well,
says street trees. Street tree is,
Yes, but you have to keep going. So now,
yeah.
hold on, with it, but if there's something 23 inches, could require, would require 4 trees. So if you take a tree down, a big tree down, you have to plant 3 smaller trees. Approval of the removal of place trees. Yeah,
This is all because of the stormwater restrictions
Yeah.
and regulations that the state passed last year.
but I
This is all
believe,
coming down to that.
now, we have to define what a street tree is. So that's one thing I haven't done a good enough homework. We're gonna have to adopt this, but it may only be the street trees.
Curb.
I think so.
I would think that that's.
But I'm not positive.
Yeah, I would think.
And Harry, do you know if it's just the ones on the road?
When you read the ordinance itself, it's actually for the entire property.
Yeah, I think it is too, for some reason. And,
Well, we gotta be consistent there with how we define property, right? Because we always say it's to the curb line.
yes,
So I think that should be consistent in this ordinance as well.
so we've always said that people own everything to the curb, that they're responsible for everything from the curb out. We just had a gentleman on Third, he removed those trees.
That's what I'm being told, yep.
Yeah, I haven't been down there, so, but, he removed the trees because we said they're on your property, they're your responsibility, regardless if there's a sidewalk, regardless if there's a curb. You're cutting the grass, you're maintaining it, you're utilizing it. So it would be everywhere. Now, why is this? We don't need to make it onerous. And I think that's a point that I think anybody would want. If it's a simple application, we need to start promoting more trees. I've been probably just as bad as everyone else. Mr. Bach, when I first was on engineering, we took trees down and we did not replace them. Many trees we took down because they were in the curb, they were lifting the sidewalks, they were ruining the roads. But the positives outweigh the negatives, the shading, the water issues that we're having. So now the state's turned around, and remember, we're just wards of the state. They tell us what to do. Now what we can do is, we don't have to charge us a fee at all. But the front office is gonna say, well, we're gonna have to do this, and we're not even gonna charge a fee. But it's up to council, there's no, it could be a nominal amount, it could be, the simple fact that it's, enough to say it's a 5-minute approval. Now, let me just point something out to you. This sewer project that we're working on, we're taking down a bunch of trees. Mr. Basil, do you remember how many trees we have to replant?
Out of the top of my head.
Is it a lot?
Yes.
Yes.
Where are they going?
That's a problem. So what we have to do, and I'm gonna send a letter out to the residents in that
5
area.
years from now, to be somebody else's problem.
I'm gonna send a letter out to everybody saying, look, we're required to put these trees back up. Now, what I'm hoping is the DEP is gonna allow us to expand the area. There's only so many trees we can put in front of somebody's house.
Can they go to parks?
We don't know yet. When Belmar was doing 295, that the state tore all those trees down, they were supposed to replant trees, and I think they expanded it to the whole town. Is that correct? Or
After they got,
after they filled as much as they could fill, and they still had to plant another 500 trees, they even called us. And the state wouldn't let them plant trees in Runnemede. They had to stay in Belmar.
Wow.
So they ran around planting trees. Now, I agree with you, they're small trees. And then we could put better trees up that aren't going to be costing people $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to take it down. We can have a little more thought process. I think the engineer would agree with us that we don't want to do things that are going to damage our roads. But we need to get back to planting trees. As our solicitor said, I was in Ocean City for a week. There's a tree in front of every single house. Every house. Now, they're not big. Crepe myrtles, if everyone knows that, like a single, I thought they looked great. They have to be maintained like anything else. They drop stuff and stuff like that. But, the idea that, you're holding the soil, you're absorbing the water. So I think we need to introduce this ordinance, but we got to do a better job, not like what we did with the bamboo, where you have to finish the bamboo ordinance. Even if you want to take the penalty down to a nominal amount also.
Taking it down to a nominal.
Then suggest it.
Absolutely.
Because that's what we need to do. We introduced it.
We
only have till December to finish it.
We need to educate people, that's what we need to do.
You asked that gentleman about, he's got to maintain his mural. He's responsible. He promised to do that, but it's our job to enforce the law.
Saying you're going to do it doesn't mean.
So once again, we have to use the law when we have to use the law.
We don't have that till we have the ordinance.
Yeah, on anything. So with the bamboo, I'm not against bamboo, but if it does go on someone's property, okay, keep it on your property. Same thing I feel about a dead and dying tree. Same thing about this ordinance for the stormwater regs. We got to do it. And I think Runnemede needs to plant hundreds of trees. Since I've been here, we've taken down at least 30 trees since I've been here on the roads. And most of the time, the neighbors, you were with me when the lady yelled at me, she didn't want it back. And we haven't planted any trees on any road project that we've done, correct? Not a single one. We've taken them down and we walked away. Drive around town, there are so few trees between the curb and the sidewalk and things like that. And it's important. Look how the Black Horse Pike during 4th of July, they stand underneath the trees. The trees, they're good and bad. But I've spent thousands. Back in our neighborhood, I've spent tens of thousands of dollars taking trees down. Because they've been there since the 50s.
Thousands to maintain the trees.
Yeah. So, but that's our job, is to look at a bigger picture. It can't just be, we have to look at a bigger picture of this stuff. So let's at least,
Work on that ordinance.
yeah.
Because I think.
So we have to read a little bit more, because you and I only read the highlights. We didn't read the whole thing. Harry's been pushing it. It has to be done before the end of the year. The sooner the better, because we can amend our ordinances if we don't want to. I'd rather us spend a little more time to get it right, just like the other one. The vacancy ordinance is the same thing. The chief wants us to finish up this vacancy ordinance. And basically, what does it say, chief?
It's just, I want to just keep people moving, where they're, I spend a lot of time down at the Harry Williams building and trying to give people help, and the other municipalities did it, and it really helped them. I just want to keep people moving and not,
We've gotten complaints of people sleeping in the gazebo. And
now
the library wants us to get rid of all benches. That stinks. Because I want us to put more benches up.
It does, and I don't think that we should have to.
But there's the balance, Patty. Once again, there's balance between,
They'll sleep on the grass, they'll get a blanket and pitch a tent.
they're all balances. That's
The
right.
benches were moved away from the library back entrance, and it's out. They're not camping out there.
Yeah. But the vagrancy is gonna help. Nobody has any objections to the vagrancy.
The problem is when they were using the benches, there's not bathroom facilities there.
Oh, they thought there was.
Yes.
Well, that's why he needs the law, and we have to help him out with that. Resolution to approve a 3-year with the municipal membership in the JIF. We do this every 3 years. It's the joint insurance fund.
We better do this one.
We will do this one. And then quotes for the fire alarm for the firehouse. So, the firehouse, as you know, houses all of our equipment. We own all the ambulances, we own the fire trucks, we own the apparatus, we own everything. The company owns the building, we rent the building from the company. And we pay them rent, and they simply pay the electric bill, and they do basic maintenance. However, as we all know, they don't have enough money to do everything. I believe the quote that they have is it in this packet? Does anybody have the quote? I think it was like $17,000 to do the alarm. This is public information. There was a fire at the firehouse. So, you know, the alarm didn't go off. It didn't go off because it was a heat sensor, not a smoke sensor, because they start the trucks up to warm them up. The technology has changed. If we upgrade, the new equipment is designed to get anything. It's heat, smoke, whatever it would be. We have $2 million worth of equipment. We have to protect it. We support the fire company. We had put money away a few years ago for that. We have not spent all that money. This would now take it down to a much lower amount. I know you hate when I put you on the spot for monies, but I believe it's about $35,000 is left. And so this would cut that number either in half or more than half. So I think we just need to get our information
We
together.
have the money set aside for the renovations.
So this would be part of it, because from what I understand, this alarm system is a 2023 alarm system, so it's capable of, if they have to move things or add things, they're able to do that.
We were lucky with that fire, you know, somebody.
Absolutely, and even the damage that was done was over $10,000 to the truck. The company warranted it because it was their fault. It was an electrical fire in the actual fire
In the
truck.
truck.
Wow.
And they warranted it and gave us our money back. So we got the money, we put the money up front, and then we were reimbursed. Any questions on that?
Kind of important to have a fire alarm.
Yeah, kind of.
You'd be surprised how many firehouses burn down,
He's right, you're right.
right?
You're absolutely
A
right.
lot of firehouses burn down.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. All right, so we're good on these lights. So just so everyone knows, if you want to, so this is what we get from the county. They gave us round 20, which was installing lights along the path. Oh, round 21. Approved work plan, rehabilitate bridges, pathways in the park. This is at Runnemede Lake Park. Install fencing, signage, trash recycling receptacles, and benches. Problem is, we haven't spent the $25,000. So we have to figure out how to spend the rest of this money. Harry, all the money that we have spent came out of our budget. It didn't come out with the $25,000 because it was just used out of your budget. Now the question is, do we move money around? But even then, I don't think you spent a whole lot. It was only wood. There was a lot of volunteerism and stuff like that. We could buy a few more trash receptacles to put around the property. Like, we could put a couple benches around the property.
That would be nice.
But we still have to spend probably another $20,000.
So what you're saying is, we're never gonna build those 2 bridges.
Not with $25,000, and not without a permit. So if we want to do the bridges, we have to
DEP never approved it.
we have to apply for a permit.
But they did, but it didn't approve it, right?
They didn't approve it?
No.
We didn't apply for it.
Oh, I thought we did, and
We only
they turned it
did-
down because of the cement.
We only did the boardwalk one. Correct. So what we could do is apply for the bridges, and then once again, we can apply for more money. The county's been very nice to us, but we need to spend this money on something. Now, the fountain got broke. The fountain is broken.
Well, there you go.
So the fountain is broken.
Oh, fix the fountain.
Fix the fountain.
I think we could call her and tell her that we're going to do the fountain at the lake.
I get a new one.
Because it's Runnemede Lake Trail Park.
We always had,
It's the aerator.
we always had.
The aerator, right.
It's not, it's a fountain.
Whatever.
Well,
We need the money and we need to get it done.
Cosmetic, the aerator takes care of the, wait,
Okay, how much does an aerator cost?
it's 15,000.
We received one quote, I do believe it was over 18, and soliciting from another company for another quote with it.
As long as it lights up, right?
Yeah.
Light
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
The unit that's out there is over 10 years old.
Can we start things?
It's always so much.
Hold on, we gotta do one at a time. Harry, please finish.
The unit that's out there is over 10 years old. With it, the electrical cord has to be replaced out because of the energy for it, the fountain itself, aerator went, and plus the light pack. So we would replace it in kind because that was designed for the size of the lake that was there and so forth, and for the treatments that we're doing. So it's a whole package to keep the sustainability of the lake with the animal, the fish, the oxygen, so we don't have another fish kill, is that size or better. But I would actually say we don't have the depth to go bigger or anything. So stay with what's there, we'll get proper quotes for it, and then we'll see if that funding will pay
Is this
for
the
it.
same one, or is it better? Obviously, it's 10 years newer. Is it better?
Yes.
Because we've had issues with the old one. Is this going to be any way better?
No. The mechanical of it is all good. The problem of it is, no matter what, how the water comes in through upstream, we still have the breeze and everything else that no matter what, the aerator is going to get jammed and plugged because of the debris coming in from upstream. There's nothing to resolve that unless we put in a whole new gabion system to filter it prior to coming into the lake.
And how much would that cost?
Hundreds of thousands.
Oh,
Harry, couldn't we put a cage, build a cage before it gets to that, so that debris would hit that cage first?
Putting a cage around the fountain and so forth now increases your maintenance, need flotation to get out to it, to clean it constantly after the storms. It just becomes a trap for it,
It's tough. It's
Right
like
now,
no matter how you do it.
when it becomes clogged right now, all you do is shut it off, let everything flow away. Then after a while, I turn it back on. There's not a,
And we've done that 100 times.
Done that numerous times. The only times we had to bring in the service people is when a plastic bag or something like that actually gets caught in the impeller.
Can you put a clock on it, so you don't have to go out there and do that?
It's interesting how you turn off every once in a while.
Yeah.
It is on a timer already.
oh, it is?
Yeah, it's on a
It does turn
12-hour.
off every day.
Yeah.
Oh, it does turn off at night. So here's what we need to do. We need to get, I think we should get some more trash receptacles. I think we should get some benches and get this thing. And then let's talk to, who is this, who's in charge of recreation? And just make sure that she's okay with all those items.
That wasn't, the aerator wasn't in that application.
Yeah, but there's enough on there that we could,
And if I remember correctly,
Leave that out.
the benches and stuff was supposed to be like recycled material.
No problem with that. Well, that's what I was curious. So this is not, so this is separate, there's a separate application that's more detailed? Because this is what she said.
that's the approved work plan, the initial application.
And they hold you to, that's,
It's supposedly what is in your application gets approved.
okay. So what I'd like to do is see if she'll help us out and let us do these things. We've got to get this lights done, and we've got to get the park done. All right. The only other thing, before we go, just so I can ask a few more questions, just so I have it then before so it doesn't get sweat. The Scout building, will you give everybody just an update on the Scout building?
Scout building, Public Works spent last week in it, cutting and jackhammering the concrete out. The contractor took a look at it yesterday. We have a little bit of touch-up work to finish with a couple little sections to soft cut and jackhammer from there. With that, the material was purchased and is on site, so he should be starting work next week, if not the following, depending on his schedule for the plumbing aspect.
Take care of everything with the construction fund.
That's in progress.
Are they hooked up to the sewer in the street, or do they have a cesspool?
We have, it's being hooked up to the street. There is a abandoned cesspool. It's non-working, non-function, nothing. It's done with.
So we're fixing it. All right. VFW playground, we already went over. Runnemede Lake, we already went over. The fountain, we already went over. And the lights.
Wait a minute, about the playground, not the playground, but the crawlers. We have to get that stuff out of there. How's that coming along? Pardon me?
I forgot that.
What's that?
The crawlers.
We're adding it to, we'll talk about it in closed session.
Okay.
We're adding it in closed
Oh,
session.
we added the closed session. Okay. All right. Did you want to finish your report? Might as well segue you. You can go first.
You can amend resolution.
Prefer you to go first.
you know what's going on.
Harry, do you have anything else?
Actually, we have a few things to talk about. There was an email today just on part-time employees. I did get, they're coming up to, one's coming up to the end of the 6 months and getting a decision on that. I know that will be for next week for resolution for an extension. Because it brings us with, as you have the, Mr. Washhart leaving us, puts us down with several employees.
We pause. So we're gonna have a resolution extending the gentleman another, all the temporaries another 6 months. So we've done this in the past,
Whoever that is.
and we put it on for next meeting.
Okay. So we're not getting much applications in whatsoever. It's happening with all the public works departments around in the area. People are finding other jobs that are paying much more, and they're going. Our talented employees of anybody that had talent has moved on. So our pool is getting lower and lower, but like I said, we don't have applications coming in. One of the things looked at is the rate itself, our part-time rate. There is some requirements to move on to full-time, because we do have 3 vacancies now for full-time. But we do need the people to come in, have CDL license and so forth like that. Plus have some skill set to give us value, to give them a benefit package and so forth. Now, with the help of our CFO and a lot of discussions and so forth, one of the things we're going to try putting out there is just a basic labor position. Our starting rate is $17.93 an hour per new contract. What people don't see is the benefit package that the borough pays on top of that the employee receives, which is approximately comes out to $17 more per hour also when we look at it. When it comes out, the benefit, it's like an additional $10,800 for benefits, and then PERS is $6,400 plus vacation, sick days, personal time.
And this is for
holidays.
part-timers?
No.
This is full-time.
Full-time.
He's trying to give you he's trying to say what a full-timer makes versus a
Right.
part-timer.
Right.
And
So-
a full-time salary is double the rate. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's it. We have a benefit package. You guys sell it as a benefit package that, you're going to make $26.24, but what you take home is $17.97 an hour. But there's value to it. We have to sell it properly that way. But we need the people to have qualifications when they're coming in, because the equipment we operate and so forth like that. And unfortunately, the pool that's out there, that people want to come work.
So you confused me a little bit. You're trying to find full-time personnel, you want to find part-time personnel.
Right now, the benefit is part-time right now.
So he wants to
I've
hire
given the
part-time
benefit-
personnel, but he wants to raise the rate and then tell the current employees, because their rate might be slightly higher than what the full-timers are, but the full-timers get all the other stuff. Yes. So the part-timers, and your other point from what I remember the conversation was, he wants to train people. It's like an apprentice program. The men that he has working for him right now that are part-timers, they need to prove themselves. And what's nice about I call it an apprentice program, is he's letting them do all the jobs. If they don't like it, they move on. If he likes them, he can offer them a job. He currently has 2 part-timers or 3.
We have 2.
They have 2. He could offer them full-time positions. He's not ready to do that right now. So that's what I think he's saying. We need to have employees come in, feel them out and do that. The number that I got, not to keep you moving, but the number I got was $18.50 would be the new rate. What he's trying to say to everyone is, that's 50 cents higher than what our full-timers make.
Mayor, I'd like to change that.
What's the number?
Okay. For right now, present, I'd like to have approval for 18 an hour.
Oh, really?
Okay. January 1st, move it to 18.50.
Okay.
And then January 1st of 2025, move it to 19.
Okay.
That
So we have
keeps
some incentive.
that gives us our incentive, because just so you know, doing my homework, we have one municipality that's actually lower than us. Right now, our current rate is $16.25. One municipality at 16. There's 2 municipalities that are 19. Okay, within Shell. One of them, it's required to have a CDL to start off at 19. 2 very close touching us are at 18, same as us. Don't want to go high with it, so we're pushing with everybody else. But if we have a plan with it, it can be budgeted properly, and it stays where there's no conflict with the current contract.
Well, I think we also need to promote the fact that there's an opportunity for a full-time position. I think everyone who applies to this job needs to know that there's 3 vacancies right now that offer health benefits, retirement benefits, and, vacation and all the other stuff.
Pension.
Well, that's the
And the
retirement.
pension,
Pension's better
I said
than-
retirement. Retirement is pension. So, they should know that there's an opportunity to move on if they prove themselves. Now, one other thought that was out there, and I hate to even bring it up, was, we could offer a bonus if they last. One of the problems is people come and go. And so you could do that. We talked about that. The shore towns do that a little bit to try to incentivize people to stay working. But if this is your plan, I'm fine with sticking with it. We need employees for raking the leaves,
You see them coming, everything
these
else
6
coming up.
inches of snow we're gonna have. Myself and the CFO have a bet that we're not gonna get more than 6 inches of snow. So I said in a public forum, I bet her we're having less than 6 inches of snow.
You're last.
We'll get it, yeah.
Last,
With that plan, I would like,
last,
over 100 and something.
last,
Total or in one store?
total season.
so that plan would be, hopefully we can have it processed next Tuesday by resolution with September 1st as the new rate for the 18.
I understand why he would do that. The reason he wants to do it is because January, the rate, you want to
And
get
then
everybody happy.
January, moving it up that way, but like I said, it also keeps us within the contract with no conflicts.
Okay. So remember, these are at-will employees. These are just part-timers. As he needs them, we bring them in. There's nothing. They could leave on their own, and we can extend their thing. So let's put this on for next. Is there any other questions with that? It is what it is. Everyone knows that hiring people is very difficult, and we have to stay on top of it. Anything else?
With that, I'm pretty sure I'll be questioned on a couple of things that will come up under Mark's report, so I'm going to look for Mark's report.
All right. We'll go around the room.
Did Richie get back to you on the soccer field?
That was all approved.
No, the schedule for polls.
No schedule's been provided yet. The schedule was for conflict right now was tryouts.
Yeah.
That was resolved, but we're still waiting for a current fall schedule itself.
But you're mowing normally on Tuesdays and Fridays, all right?
No, we're mowing whatever day we can possibly get crews out, because everything right now, because ground-wise, everything's been treated for weed control and so forth. Fertilization started yesterday, and will continue into next week for fall fertilization for all the fields and so forth. Today, we also top dressed the big soccer field down there. We had to do some rut control from the previous damage, so we did some more touch up for that, but then we put over a top dress onto the field itself down there.
Did you get it from Mitchell?
No, we actually mixed it ourselves. It was cheaper. So lot going on that way and a lot going on throughout the town with everything else.
Excuse me, Shelley? Do we have to do an ordinance, or is that this amount of money within the range that we have for these part-time?
She's saying that the salary ordinance gives us the window to make them higher. I personally don't care.
Yes, you gotta keep it clean.
We're going to revise the entire salary ordinance for minimum wage, so we'll just include that in the revision.
But do we need to do it before we do this resolution?
No.
Okay.
We've done it at the end of the year, after the year was over. We've done these salary ranges.
I understand that, but I didn't know if the range, that $19 or whatever it is this year, 18, is in that range. I have no idea. I don't have it.
I don't remember the part-time, I don't have that one memorized. Okay, want to go around the room? Ms. Paskett, you want to go first?
Yes, September 30th and October 1st, 8 to 2, is our townwide weekend yard sale. So you can check on our website again to see for hours, and there's no permits, there's no fee, so just go out there, put your wares out. All we ask is that you bring it back in, don't leave it out.
Take the signs down.
Take your signs down, thank you. And then go over on October 14th to the women's, so over at Harry Williams and their flea market. So take all your stuff that you didn't sell and take it over there. $25 for a table. Yes, that's the one that's
October 14th?
October 14th.
8 to 2.
So, you know, within 2 weeks, you can, sell all your stuff and make a lot of money. Anyway, also Halloween night, October 31st, as always, at our field house, we will be having our costume party with food and beverages and a lot of stuff going on from 6 to 8. So that too will be on our website and our Facebook page for any information. And with that, I say, Caucus, do you have anything?
I do.
No, okay.
All right,
No, I can
you did.
whatever.
So you might not know all this, but I want everybody to know and everyone on council and everyone to hear. Early voting starts at the Harry Williams Building on
The 28th.
October 28th, which is early, that's early voting.
I
So,
sent it to everybody.
so everyone saw this? Did you saw this? Okay, so if anyone didn't see it, early voting. Harry, it's important for you, Chief.
And where's the voting, Mayor?
Well, this is early voting.
That's over at the.
So early voting is at the senior center. It'll be locked and all that
And that's till November 5th.
until November 5th. So the scouts and things like that they won't be able to get in there. The blood drive is on what day?
That's December, what did we pick, Harry, the 29th?
So there's a blood drive. The only reason we bring that up
December
is,
29th, it's further in,
yeah, I just want everyone to know there is conflicts all the time.
no.
Okay, so that's
The
December.
chamber wants to have a meeting, and I think the date is November 10th. The reason is the scouts are in there on certain days, the seniors are in there on other days, so it's difficult. St. Teresa's in the RYA. And then election day, obviously, all of our elections happen in the one building. So Harry, whatever time you want to block off, I think we need to just make sure it gets blocked off so that there's no issues with
And
that.
then we had the addition of the flu shots.
Oh, the flu shots too.
October 30th, in the gym,
That's the one, I didn't mean to say blood drive, I meant to say the flu
flu
shots.
shot, October 30th, from 10 to 1.
All right, so everybody saw that too. So there's a lot of things going on. So between the senior center and the gym, we've got to bounce around a little bit. So the flu shots will be in the gym because the voting will be in the senior
Senior
center.
Center.
Correct.
Okay.
And they're fine with that.
So Sunday, we're going to be on the 21st century, and we'll have a electronic calendar that we can all review and see all the stuff and all the people. We'll know this.
So many years.
We're going to get it soon. I think we're going to get it around January 2nd or 3rd.
That was John's dream.
It's a dream. All right, sorry about that, but I
That's
knew,
okay.
did you
Good,
see that
good,
email?
Good, good.
I
No,
forgot.
when did it come out?
I guess today.
This-
Today.
Today.
Yeah,
I think it was
no,
today.
it's my granddaughter's birthday, I was running
Yeah.
back and forth.
John?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. In finance, our audit exit conference for 2022 is tomorrow.
I will be there, John.
Okay, great. Look forward to seeing you there. 1 o'clock.
Will you be there,
Here.
John, or do you want to replace me?
I'll be here.
Okay.
I'll be here, yeah. We are setting the closing date for the sewer extension project loan with the NJI Bank, the Infrastructure Trust Bank. Now that everything has been approved through the DEP, we can move forward with that. Our best practice, our annual survey will be coming out soon, which measures our compliance across all the borough departments. This also helps us with our state aid. It determines how much we will get each year. Several grant awards for Chapter 159s are going to be inserted into our budget. Our 2024 budget requests for October submission we're working on it with the Finance Committee and Shelley. I'm going to be getting back to the Finance Committee with a date in the next couple of weeks. I'll talk to Shelley and we'll see what's best for us to get together and start talking about 2023 existing budget and 2024 upcoming budget, and the rest is progress.
What did you say the deadline was? Say we want to submit a budget for the grantee. When does that budget have to be submitted?
I think sometime in October, is that right?
October.
Mid-October? Yeah.
It'd be nice to put something, if we're going to get it in early, and then we know we can insert it.
Yeah.
Just like the art and all the other kind of stuff, we just get it in there.
We're having a budget meeting this
Yeah.
coming
And
Saturday.
now by having this 159, if we do collect money, we'll be able to save it, and then if we put a few $1,000s for whatever the incidentals are, that's great. Thanks, John.
You got it.
I will defer until the council meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Lowenstein, did you have anything else?
Just what Mr. Wolzak went over.
Engineering, Mr.
Thank you. 2022 reconstruction on First Avenue CDBG project sign was installed. and the anticipated start of construction is scheduled for Tuesday, September 5th. That's pretty. 2023 reconstruction of Harding and Payne Avenue design is commenced, and the project will be advertised for bids when completed and approved by NJDOT Local 8. Third, NJDOT reconstruction of Manor and Bowers Avenue, waiting for local aid regarding core waiver requests before releasing retainage. And I said, I have something else. It's a grant opportunity. I mentioned it to Shelley. It's Transportation DOT has it for around the schools, and she said it's every year. But we've been trying to look at Davis and all the other.
Well, if you recall, Haddon Heights just got $2 million to do sidewalks because they're a walking district. Well, Runnemede is a walking district. So I think it's an extensive application, but we could argue around. It is an extensive.
That's what she said. There's a lot of.
We have to work with the school board.
Right.
And really get the numbers from them, both the local and the regional, so we can help Triton, but also help in front of Volk, because the nice lights in front of it, maybe some more sidewalks,
Crosswalks,
Williams, all that kind of stuff to make it look nicer.
But it's a sin, the kids still gotta walk on Davis Road on the street.
Yeah.
So.
It's something to work on a couple months before application.
Yeah, it's a big project.
And it's due September 23rd, so.
So maybe next year it will be a great project.
Right, but I think what they do most of the work for the school has to do most of the.
The school has to give us all the reasons why.
If we have a few months to do it, I mean,
It's complicated.
it is a lengthy process.
It helps if you get a school travel plan put together. It's a very extensive document.
Is that what Heights did? You guys present Heights, don't you?
They got help from the county.
County came.
Same with Pleasanton. Somehow they got the county involved in it.
That's what made the difference. Okay.
Without the travel plan, you don't get one. We've tried doing this in Magnolia, but we don't have travel.
They're a walking district also.
What do you mean travel, Jen?
It says how many kids walk up Davis Road, how many kids walk down Williams, how many kids are walking down Third.
It's a thick document.
Time of day. It's extensive, and that's how you win the money. Especially if they've now done it for Clementon and Heights. They've got
I don't have anything to do with that.
Yeah, he's in charge of everything. That would have went through his department.
It might be too late to get.
For this year, because it's a lot of work.
I'm going to do November 4th, so I'm not sure.
Well, it's definitely something that maybe we could work on.
And the schools do an internal survey on how many students walk, bike.
So we need their help.
We do.
Okay. All right, good. Was there something else?
No, that was all.
That's good.
Thank you.
We'll go to the engineer. Mark, you want to go first?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Let Shelley, chief, have a second.
I submitted my report in writing and gave everybody a copy. Bob went over most of it. There's a couple things, and Harry alluded to this on our general engineering. The Central Avenue emergency stormwater repairs. On July 25th, we had our Caucus meeting where you awarded the project to Borough in the amount of $52,745.11. That was a best guess what was out there because we couldn't see things. When they went to construction, we ran into some issues out there. So the additional work required brings it up to $75,151.49. It was $14,876 for additional work by Kern Finnegan and an additional $12,540 to do concrete restoration. We had a $5,000 allowance in for restoration, but the work basically doubled from what we ran into out there. So we're looking to amend your resolution that you did on July 25th. I do not know.
Do we amend the resolution, or do we pass a new resolution tonight? What's the difference?
There's an emergency contract.
Yeah,
This
so-
is the emergency.
I would say amend.
So do we know that number?
I do not know. I just know it was passed on July 25th. I don't know what number it was. I don't have the minutes from that meeting, and it was not on your agenda either.
Do we do that this evening, or should it go be Tuesday night?
As long as I have consensus, we can get the concrete work approved. The concrete work hasn't been done.
Oh, so K Concrete hasn't done
They have
it?
not done the work yet.
Okay.
But it's just easiest.
Is everybody in agreement that we need to do this? And Shelley, you can certify the funds? I mean, if we want to wait, Joyce, we just have to get the resolution from July 25th and amend it to the $75,161.49.
Yes.
So we're amending the emergency resolution.
Yes.
This happens a lot along that street. What's going on? Is there-
Ton of water comes down Central.
Yeah, I know.
It's the worst.
Oh.
But this made improvement. They doubled the size of the pipes. They
Both
doubled the
sides.
inlets. They doubled everything.
I did go down there in the last big rainstorm. I was happened to be coming home, and no water was going past.
Wow.
It's really improved. Nothing was getting down to.
So we're not flooding the pump station anymore?
It wasn't getting down to the pump station. It was really.
The pump station would be 2 feet underwater sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
That's great.
That is
It
good.
was the last big rainstorm we had a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Well well spent money,
Okay.
well spent.
Do you want to start at the beginning? I just want to make sure, what's going on with the path at the RYA? Is that designed, you ready for
No,
it?
I have to do a proposal.
So you're waiting on a proposal for that?
Yes.
I just want to make sure, yeah, because we don't want to do that once baseball starts. I mean,
No,
what were
we
you
have
thinking?
to design it, we need additional survey, I just have to do a proposal for what has to happen out there. I know you talked about doing more work that's out there, so.
Well, I think the only thing we did talk about, and this is where things get bigger, is if we're going to be paving, is the mill and overlay the parking lot, or just overlay the parking lot?
So
Because we're using that a lot more.
that's all made is to get you a proposal for what our engineering fees are.
Don't make me cost again. Well, he won't answer, so.
Right.
What's that? Yeah.
But yes, I will get you a proposal on the engineering.
All right, no problem.
Where are we now? Bob's got us cut off, there were things that were updated. The last thing I'm on page 6 now is the sewer extension project. DEP has finally concurred with our award recommendation. They maybe jumped through hoops with doing a no-cost change order, so that will be coming to you for signature. It's just when we put the.
I read it. It was the dumbest thing in the world.
Exactly.
They're idiots.
Thank you for that.
It's on the record. They're complete idiots.
So that's going to be coming to you for signature, whether we need a resolution for you to sign, I don't know, it's a no-cost change order.
How do you make a change order for $0? I have no idea.
And to have.
You're not changing anything?
And
But you're not changing
and
nothing.
to incorporate wage rates that we had in the bid documents.
Yes.
It's stupid, but anyway, that will be coming.
But they wanted it in the contract. It wasn't in the contract? How could the bid?
Like you said.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
So as soon as I get contracts back from them, including that change order, we'll get everything in order, and then we'll set up a pre-con meeting and get that job rolling. I have to set up a pre-con meeting with DEP officials. They first require a site visit and then come back to Borough Hall for the pre-con meeting.
Okay.
I'm not sure where we'll be on the site since it's so spread out.
Oh, you want to meet on the site?
That's what they said. So, I don't know.
We can meet on Davis and look at our new sidewalks. Right?
So I'll let you know more
Or
about
trees.
that. But that's all I have that's been updated since the last report, unless anyone has any questions.
What about Oakland Avenue? Slip line, that's not part of his, is it?
No, that was under, I was going to catch you after the meeting on it. Information was given to both parties. Your contact information plus Mr. Long's was given to them. They were reluctant against it, so they have the papers and haven't signed them right now. So I was going to ask you if you wanted to do
I
it
said
or
the
not.
chief. Chief's better than me. You want me to go talk to these people?
I think you need to talk.
All right.
If I may, anything come up from the county for paving from Schubert to, on Evesham itself? Schubert to the Black Horse Pike?
I haven't seen anything.
Because we talked from Mr. Harris, who's going to have it rolled in, our manholes, just so you know.
I heard that, but I haven't seen any,
Okay.
I haven't seen anything in the county budget or anything saying that they were getting
You drive that location all the time. Are you seeing the sinking?
Oh, yeah.
No, of the manhole lids.
Oh, yeah, it's really bad.
The manhole lids are sinking. That's what our concern was in the
But
replacement.
they're supposed to go all the way to the Black Horse Pike.
But what I'm saying is, if we don't have a timeline, we might be moving that project to getting it done, because we're starting to see visual signs.
Dirt,
Bob said he didn't want to go all the way down to the point, last time I told
that
him.
would be right.
But I don't know if it's gonna last if we're 2 years plus out.
All right, thank you. But if you give me that information, we'll go talk to the residents.
So Mayor, you're telling me that we're not gonna get the rest of Evesham done and it's gonna stay like that?
I didn't say that.
He didn't say that, he didn't
It's
say
not
that.
even close.
So when is it gonna get done then?
It's not our road.
It's not our road. It's a county road, it's not
Yeah,
our
I know,
road.
but
It's not our
Harry's
road.
concern is the sewer manholes are ours.
I know.
And Mr. Harris from the county has offered to help us out,
It's horrible.
but we have to wait for him to do the road. Otherwise, we would do it, and then they would not tear up what we did, but yes, they would tear up some of what we do.
So what's the timeline on that? I
There is
mean,
none.
Well, if one of them collapses, we fix it. And when the county goes out for bid, we add these sewer manholes in there. We don't need that.
I know, it's just,
It's, you know.
it's just that Evesham is looking very good from the point where they ended up to the White Horse Pike. It's looking beautiful. How did we get left out?
We didn't get left out, they just haven't.
They
done
stopped
it
a
yet.
little short, but
We're still coming out of COVID. too.
they had a lot of problems right at the PSCNG pump station. Right, Chief, didn't they redo the whole, there was a lot of work there.
Down there, yes.
They had to redo that whole stream that goes underground. It did a lot of work. Do you remember they were there for months and months and months? So, all right, who's still
That's
on?
all I have.
Okay.
Anything, Mark, anything on, I see on your quinta, anything on that?
So the King Tax, we have a report from Mr. Pasante, basically saying that they're waiting on their final approval for the state to do what they want to do. Because for them to be eligible as a redeveloper, the state has to actually agree with us, saying they're a redeveloper. They'll still have to come in front of us. We'll have a special meeting one night. They'll come in front, show us everything they're going to do. We'll agree to they've already agreed to the contract terms, the money aspect of it. We've sort of agreed already that it's going to be an apartment type of complex. And then the last step is they come in front of the planning board for final public hearing and all that part to make sure it's done properly. But yeah, it's an awful, awful process. It's just everything's long. What's moving faster is the warehouse is moving faster. So the warehouse, we might have to do something to update our plan, but other than that, I think they're going to come in front of us. But that's already been approved by the planning board.
Where the warehouse going, is that redevelopment or did it start
Yes.
at La Quinta?
We made all of the empty land, because when we applied to the state, we said we have an empty warehouse, we have all this empty land, it's underdeveloped. It was supposed to be a warehouse, there was an approval, nobody built
I
it.
forgot that we did the whole.
So those two properties under redevelopment.
All the signs are down on the car wash, they're gonna start soon.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's started.
They took everything out. Bill, did they clean up Lucky?
I'll speak to you about that after. I'm on every day I'm dealing with
There's
that.
nothing else on it.
That's horrible.
Shelley, did you want to yell at me?
Everyone on that.
Yeah, I got three things. We'll talk.
Okay.
All right, three things real quick. Number one, by being out in the public and speaking to a lot of senior citizens, something I would think we should take a peek at if it's possible. They maybe putting up a sign on the front parking lot for the spots, maybe 15-minute borough business parking sign, so that the seniors can get in and pay their taxes and meet with the ladies up front and not park maybe down the road or on the other side of the parking lot.
Certain areas of the parking lot?
Maybe the front spot where the door is, the double door, so they
They don't use the
Or-
handicap spots?
Oh, no, if they don't, you know what I'm saying?
Harry, you want to look at that and see what you think?
If that's possible.
Maybe put one or two? Anybody pretty-
Because with court and everything else, I don't want to, you know what I mean, I want them to be able to get in here with no issues. That's okay.
Makes sense.
And tomorrow night, I'll be attending Volz's back to school party, and then Thursday, I was invited by Dominic Vesper to lead the county in the Pledge of Allegiance at Timber Creek Park for the Remembrance and Hope Memorial Vigil. Captain Murray attended it with me one year. It's mob there over at their, it's International Overdose Awareness Day. It's a huge event, so I'll be up there on the stage giving them Pledge of Allegiance.
Slim's old ranch.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge event.
Nice.
So
That's good. That's nice.
I'm good.
All right. You had nothing else?
Well, close,
super.
Clerks want to chime in? No? Okay,
You know,
we're going to do
I
the,
have one thing. You know, we do have a scrolling calendar on our website. Do you know that?
okay.
And then almost all
Do you
of
have the budget on
our
it?
events are on, yeah.
You had the RYA and the Harry Williams building?
That I don't have on there. RYAA.
That's where we had the
And
most
the
problems,
senior
is the
center.
conflict between the youth groups, the senior groups, you know, those buildings
The
are
problem
designed.
is, if the coach cancels, they don't call me.
I'm
They
not
tell
arguing that, I'm just
Maria.
saying, what we talked about tonight, knowing that the seniors is gonna be, they're gonna lose that 5 or 6 days for early voting. There should be,
That's up there.
that's on there.
That's all.
It says Harry Williams building.
It says Harry, in fact, it distinguishes between the senior center and the gymnasium when there's two different things going on.
Well, because I know that the chamber was trying to find a date to use that
Correct.
building.
And
So like, you didn't know the schedule of the scouts. Should that be on there? I think it should be on there when the girls are in there.
They're there every
When the girls are-
Monday through Thursday.
But it's different groups.
Girls are at night and the other 3 nights are boys.
And, you know, I'd like to see a little more information, like, what troop is it? You know, I'm a little confused why the boys are down to 12 boys. How are they using it 3 nights a week?
I think they've always been down to 12.
Don't they have, don't they have Cub Scouts?
They have a Cub Scouts.
So they break
and
each
do-
night for a
they
different
do.
thing?
Yeah.
So Cub Scouts, you know, I'd like to know that a little bit more. But I'm trying to get the scout building done and we won't have this problem.
Yeah, correct.
Once the scout building is done.
How long will that be, do you know?
What time is it?
Planning on going in there next month.
No, I get the question, I got it today from one of the scout
Remember
parents.
Ernest and
I get
Julia
them
Wine?
all the time.
You know that, remember that, there will be no building until it's time. When it's done, it's done. It's-
I mean, are we talking in the next few months or next year? I don't know.
Harry,
Hopefully by the end of the
Harry,
year.
Next year.
next year?
Next year.
That's fine.
I mean, we just found out that they're doing the sewer lines and the water lines. I think that's great.
Everything, all of the early voting, it's all up on our website.
Okay.
Take a look.
I am, I'm gonna critique it.
I'm sure you will.
You're in trouble now.
And,
You
all right,
send
so
it to
this
the
book,
calendar.
you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna pay the bills, then we're gonna open it up to the public. Would someone like to make a motion to pay the bills?
I will, motion to make the.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Kelly, second by Ms. Casio. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Fazio.
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly.
Yes.
Mr. Lobenstein.
Yes.
Mr. Farrell.
Yes.
And Mr. Ranieri.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, bills should be paid. This portion of the meeting is open to the public. Anyone wishing to speak, please come to the microphone, state your name and address. Oh, they're bringing the big gun.
Dan Murray, 281 Evergreen Road. About a month and a half ago or so, the green team approached me and asked me to give them a hand at dealing with contractors for solar panels on top of the Harry Williams building. So we had a meeting a few weeks ago, and it turns out I don't think we're anywhere near that. We're not near hiring contractors for solar panels. So after the meeting, I spoke with Harry, and we think that the first step would be to have the engineers take a look at the building and see if it's even feasible to put solar panels on top of the building. And
Now, what engineer would that be? Would that be our civil engineer, or does the solar companies have engineers?
Well, our concern is that the solar companies would.
Are gonna be-
They would say yes.
Not as honest.
Yeah, so we would prefer to use our engineering firm to at least say what could or could not be.
Okay. Do we know, so the only thing I'll say, because I'm dealing with my own building, is the weight. Are you comfortable with, to just estimate 4 to 6 pounds per square foot?
We would need information from.
So you see what he's asking, like, so I'm doing my building, and before I ordered the steel, I talked to the solar panel company, and they told me that depending on the panel I put on there, it was between 4 to 6 pounds per square foot. So while I agree you don't want to, as long as we have an idea, a range, so if he knew that, hey, we could go up to a 7 pound, but if you say, if he comes back and says we can only do a 6 pound, do you see what I'm getting at? You go to smaller amount of array,
Yeah.
depending on the weight.
I guess my concern is it even possible to put them up? I don't even know if this building was never designed for that, right?
I don't believe it was designed for that, but I think, once again, my own experience again is that the weight has come down dramatically, and as long as we could figure out that it's
You
okay,
mean the way the panels are like?
the weight of the solar panels will come down tremendously.
Our concern too is with it being a relatively flatter type roof is, the snow. So I just don't know, I mean, I've been on this roof, I haven't been on that roof, so I know that some of the roofs have some challenges with it.
Well, Mr. Martino's company was the one who put the roof on there for us, and they did a great job. They put the foam down and they put the TPO roof down there. He knew that we talked about solar panels, so his men were up there working on it. So I do agree we need to, if you think that's the first step, then that's.
That's kind of where we're at, is because we don't
So
want to.
if you could figure it out, I would say 4 to 6 pounds, but, you know.
The one thing about solar, I have solar on my house. And I bought my solar, and on the house, I'm spending the same amount of money using solar versus what I would have spent if I had upgraded all my systems. I could have spent less money as a homeowner if I had put in a new heater system in, a new air conditioner, versus putting on solar.
Well, you could do both.
on my house. I could do both, yes.
Well, the point, here's what we're looking at now. The program that Shelley and I looked at is.
I'm looking at the monetary.
Well, we saw a return on our investment in about 7 years, I think it was. There was a 7-year return on the investment. I'm looking at that in my own building, 7 years. So I'm doing all energy efficient, but I'm also looking at recouping the money within 7 years. And I believe that's our goal too, is, you know, we're gonna get 20-some years out of these panels. It'll be 13 years.
Look at all the things, like my inverter is only guaranteed for a number amount of years. If the inverter goes, it's $3,000. You know, just a lot of things like that.
I don't think they're questioning the idea of solar, because it's already
Well,
known.
I know, but we're dealing with taxpayer money, so we have to get that stuff out. You know.
I guess tonight, the main thing is it even
Right.
feasible
Let's get that
to look at?
to
Should we even talk about it? Can that building hold?
Yeah, so let's try to get our engineer to at least go out there and see if he can figure out based
Let's
on
get
the
that answer.
Yeah, is that what we're
the structure, the purlins, the roof that's on there, and decide at 4 pounds per square foot if it can be done.
When will that happen?
Oh my God.
Well, he's asking, he wants to know. I mean,
Mark,
Well,
can you
Is
get
that
that
this
tonight? I'll
year?
bring the bucket truck out.
Next year.
will that be this year or next year?
yeah.
It's built in the 70s.
Yeah, you have, your office has them. Yes. Just so you're aware. Steve knows.
Your office might have
Yeah.
it, because we looked at, when we went to look at the addition on the building, I think, you know,
Yeah.
your architectural department looked at it. Remember that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Good point, though, Dan.
Mark,
Yeah.
Before we spend.
That's a good point.
So we can start there with the.
Yeah, if we can make sure that we can do it, and then maybe we can find out how much weight it can handle. And then go back to the solar guys and say, it can only handle 5,000 pounds.
Should he communicate with you?
Yes, do everything with Dan.
Well, you can come through us.
Yeah, sure.
Come through us. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Dan.
You're all right, sure.
Hi, Ken.
How you doing? I don't want to
I
know.
don't think I did fingerprints.
Be nice.
No, don't let
You
that
wasn't
happen.
booked inside, you wanted to start talking about
Don't let
it.
that happen.
What's that?
And look, you left first, on your trees, I'd like to make a suggestion. That they decide how far from each intersection you plan.
Absolutely.
Also, by driveway, must maintain an 8-foot
Absolutely.
per site.
But the homeowner has to maintain it.
Yeah, but I mean, somebody takes a tree down between driveways, you want to put it over, how can you put it there?
Once again, you're right, we have to have a criteria.
Yeah, I mean.
We've only started the conversation because we're being required to do
That's why,
this.
where I live, they just took down 2 trees on the corner,
Yeah, I saw that.
and people took it down. But to plant another one, that's ridiculous. So I'm thinking, sightseeing, I drove for a living, sightseeing, especially with all the kids who walk up the street. But some kind of, you have unit, it's gotta be 8 foot, keep the tree limbs, so the kids are walking to school, from school.
I don't think we have that ordinance currently.
Well, I don't know. That would be,
We have a current ordinance that people have to be clear, and also the site triangles.
yeah, I believe 4 foot's not.
Actually, 20 feet, we have 20 feet from the corner.
That's, I didn't know if you did. That was my
If you look around town, you'll see we paint yellow in a lot of areas, and no one's allowed to park there.
Yeah.
And that's our site
That's
triangle.
usually 20 foot, one goal.
Yeah.
But that doesn't work in my neighborhood.
They're gonna come and ask about concrete or sidewalks or
No,
not.
I'm thinking, Harry told me it's in the work.
All right, he's got the money.
Harry told me it's in the work.
Yeah.
But I just gave him another project today that nobody ever reported. It's your side.
My sidewalk.
Yeah. So
There are no sidewalks in front of my house.
No, by the dam. It's sinking. The blacktop is sinking.
That's all Barry and I, the only reason I know, I walked down to the eye doctor. I know the kids run back and forth
But you
now.
went to the eye doctor, how could you see if they sidewalk?
So my feet touch the ground.
You didn't get it lifted up.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Anyone else?
Ed. Me either, me either.
Aye.
I appreciate it. I'm Dave Steinberg, I live at 825 East Clemens Bridge Road, apartment 313. And a couple of quick things here. Number one, you may have mentioned it, the 10th of November. Make sure.
Is that official? I like
It's
it.
official. I confused Joyce the other day.
She told me. She likes to give me right hooks.
As long as you're up ahead. Now, a couple of things, as far as the level is concerned, a couple of requests. We had somebody, we had, in fact, a couple of people.
He called me tonight,
agreed
he
to
had to
help
go
us
get his
with
car tomorrow,
grass cutting.
Thursday, whenever he fixes it.
Unfortunately, we're not available. I'm doing all this running, and we're in the plans, so I'd like to, find out if we, if we're good to go.
Now, we kids been over there, cutting over there. He keep walking, we should help out.
And you guys go around with a weed whacker?
He's weed whacking.
I've got the lead on.
But you need a grant, where's, what do you mean, the lawnmower around the perimeter area?
Yeah. And
We should be able to
anything.
do the perimeter area.
We'll-
So not go on the rocks, not go on the stones. It's up to you. Okay.
As we reported in the previous one, I have no problem doing that, but the decks will be raised because we don't want any liability for any damage and so forth to the stuff. So it won't be a shortcut.
I hope we find somebody by next year.
It's hard to get good volunteer help.
I hear you.
Okay, the last thing is, I'd like to know, we're talking about getting additional trash cans, and we have one quick increase of 11.
If we had the funding, I mean, the money, if you
Do we
remember, was,
have one right there? I thought-
I don't know, but the money that we were talking about though was, we had to spend it at Runnemede Lake Park. We had to spend it at a specific VFW playground. So that's where it gets a little tricky, where we can spend it. You know, we're doing our best to put trash
We
cans.
want to spend the money on we like Park and sometime next year. They have to talk.
Well, the lawyer would yell at me if I said that, so.
You just said it on the microphone.
See, his big brother's listening.
I'm not the one who's going to move it though.
We will do our best.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good one. Thanks, Dave. All right, so we're going to go to closed session if you guys don't mind. We're not going to do any business afterwards. Oh, you're coming? I'm sorry. You're leaving.
My name is Kathy Hornigold, 111 East 3rd Avenue. Okay, so it is over Pollinator Garden. I don't know if anybody's looked at Pollinator Garden.
Or butterfly garden, yes.
Butterfly Garden. It is overgrown with weeds, various grasses, and I believe the tree of heaven, which harbors spotted lantern flies. Also, we have vines growing up the flagpoles. If you look at this. The memorial water feature is most likely producing mosquitoes. It is, we looked at it. Since the water is not moving, the basin is filthy and loaded with weeds. We can add a solar fountain or start using dumps. Bottom line, garden needs a good weeding, replanting of native plants that will attract pollinators, and the memorial needs care and mosquito control. I don't think that's a whole heck of a lot can be done.
Well, I thought the weeds were part of the pollinator stuff.
And it was part of the green team's job.
I missed that. It was part of the green team's job. We had a couple volunteers come out there. They did a wonderful job.
Ryan.
I mean, Linda did a wonderful job. Your
I-
daughter did and her husband did a phenomenal job for 1 year.
I pulled Betty.
Before I leave, I'll go pull the vine down on the flagpole, so you don't have to worry about that.
Okay, also look at that memorial.
Yeah, we've talked about things.
We know about that, yeah.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
All right.
Kathy.
All right, let's close the public portion. Motion to close the public portion?
I'll make a motion to close the public portion.
I'll second that.
Motion by Ms. Pastor, second by Ms. Kelly, all in favor?
Aye.
Public portion is closed.
A meeting or two ago, you spoke about shovel ready.
Yes.
at Howard Williams Building. I thought we asked for him to start putting something together.
Did we authorize you to get blueprints ready? So why don't you get us a proposal?
We did.
Okay, how much money? All right,
Maybe that's
can
what
we find it? Why don't we find it and bring it up? Because we have to pay for it now. If we want him to do the drawings, we gotta have money for it. So why don't we'll talk about it by next week. If it's something we can afford to do, let's just do
you said.
it.
There's a lot of money out there.
There is money. Even this sewer project?
Because I couldn't hear it.
I changed my name.
What's that?
What was Bob saying?
This is Howard Williams Building. The mayor had mentioned that the state, county was given a lot of money out.
State.
The state, and we're trying to get that addition on the Howard Williams Building and all.
But we need blueprints. You can't be shovel-ready without blueprints. But you just made me think we are still trying to get money reimbursed even for the sewer extension project. Because there is money out there for that. We did apply for that now. Who knows, but you're 100% right. They're just trying to spend the money. Okay, so we're going to go into closed session. So the closed session is for discussion of contract. What? What do I have to do?
Do we have to amend it?
We will.
Okay.
Okay, so closed session to discuss contract negotiations and
Attorney-client privilege.
attorney-client privilege. Okay, we're going to be 15 minutes?
Yep, no action will be taken.
15 minutes, no action will be taken.